New Year's resolutions. Those goals that your mates will make on the last day of the year that inevitably crumble within 2 days. So, what are NRL teams' New Year's resolutions for 2026? Let's get into it. Starting off with the team that finished last, the Newcastle Knights. Of course, all of these are subjective, so you can come up with your own if you want, if you disagree with mine. But for Newcastle, I think their goal should be to get their spine clicking early. Last year, they were one of the most boring sides in the competition, and, well, getting your spine clicking early can definitely be a fix to that. Especially now that they've got Justin Holbrook as their coach, who, as we've seen at the Titans, is a much more attacking-minded coach. With the attacking weapons they've got through Braden Best, Dane Gagai, Fletcher Sharp, and, of course, Caleb Ponga and Dylan Brown. If Ponga and Brown can combine really nicely early on, the Knights probably could contend for finals. They've still got a makings of a top 8 side. For the Titans, it's a bit specific, so stay with me, is for them to stop playing a Titans style of footy. Now, yes, it's very entertaining to watch, and putting these guys, Kenny, Brimson and Campbell, all on the same side is bound to be one of the most attacking teams in the comp, but I think it's best for them to go away from that. Be a more defensive side. Still have that attack, but work on their defence. And I think their halves partner for Jaden Campbell is really going to define what decision they want to make. If they put Brimson with Campbell, it's the same old Titans. If they put Ilias next to Campbell, they know what they need for their future, and they're going to go better next year. Next up, the St. George Illawarra Dragons. Their goal is to win close games. This is something that I've been harping on about that no one else has seemed to realise. The Dragons lost 10 games by 8 points or less last year. That's impressively bad. Now, to be fair, they did have a few wins by 8 points or less, but they beat 3 of the top 4 sides last year and came close to beating the Dogs. The Dragons are actually not that bad of a team, and 15th really was unflattering for them. So next year, if they can win the close ones and get their normal weird victories, they should be able to push for the 8. For the Rabbitohs, I feel like this is probably one of the most obvious ones in the video. Stay healthy. By God, were they injured last year. And even the year before to an extent. They had so many injuries last year to what is a probably even top 4 roster on paper. But for injuries, they haven't been able to capture that potential, and, well, if they stay fit, they should be aiming for at least, top 8 spot. They are a top 8 team on paper, and I think they definitely could if they stay injury-free. So yeah, Souths just need to stay injury-free for next year. For the Tigers, their goal should be to stay out of the headlines. So, don't let any 19-year-olds go to other clubs that Phil Gould hasn't talked to. So yeah, pretty simple, but I think they really need a chill season. The Cowboys' goal is to be more consistent. Last year, they started 0-3, then won 4 in a row. And then the rest of the season, they just absolutely capitulated and played really bad footy. But they also had some really weird games where they would just score 3 tries in 10 minutes and bang, they were back into it. I don't know if they'll be able to do that again next year. And I feel like, again, like the Titans, they really need to tighten up defensively because, well, if they don't, they're going to leak a lot of points. For the Eels, their goal is to address the difference between their best and their worst. The Eels' best was top 4 worthy with Moses back in that side, and their attack was really good and they were fun to watch. But the first half of the year, yeah, their worst was probably the worst in the comp, maybe behind Newcastle or the Titans. Manly's goal is to find more consistency. Manly last year beat 3 of the top 4 sides, but they also lost to 3 of the bottom 4. So, they need to be more consistent. They need to beat the teams they should be beating, and if they still get those weird, wacky wins, they should be able to push for the 8. This is also accompanied by a new halfback who is probably in better form than DCE. So, let's see how Manly go next year. For the Dolphins, their goal should be to make the finals for the first time in their short history. They were a very fun team to watch last year, putting on 50 multiple times, and generally just being a very fun attacking side. If they can bring that into 2026, why can't they make finals? They're one of the most scary attacking sides to watch in the competition, and they're only going to get better with young players like Isaiah Katoa, and Herbie Farnworth still isn't young, one of the best centers in the league, if not the best, so I don't see why the Dolphins can't play finals. For the Roosters, their goal should be to get their spine clicking early so they can push for the top 4. In 2022 and 2023 in particular, the Roosters started off pretty poorly. They weren't even in the 8 by 2/3 of the way through the year. They showed their best footy at the end of the year, made finals, and didn't really do anything. They can't afford to do that in 2026. I feel like if they don't win a premiership with DCE this year, they probably won't next year either. So that's why I think the Roosters have to be clicking early through Robson, Teddy and Cherry Evans for them to have any chance at a premiership in 2026. The Warriors need to keep their key players healthy, notably Mitch Barnett and Luke Metcalf. These two guys drove the Warriors to a top 4 spot by mid-year, but both of them went down within 5 weeks of each other, and the Warriors' premiership chances were done, and any realistic finals run was gone very quickly. If those two can have long, prosperous seasons, the Warriors should be finishing top 4 and probably making it to at least a prelim. For the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, their goal should be to win a finals game. They really struggled in finals last year, especially against the Panthers. The Storm wasn't too bad. That's in Melbourne, fair enough. But Penrith, they were really uncompetitive and just didn't show anything, especially that first half. They're one of the best defensive teams in the comp, if not the best, and they can get clicking. They should be a pretty decent side in 2026. The Raiders' goal could be the exact same as the Dogs, but I've got a much more specific one. They've lost Jamal Fogarty, which means that their halfback reins are handed over to either Ethan Sanders or Kobe Black. Whichever one they choose, their goal should be to get them the Rookie of the Year. If they can, the Raiders will be good again. If they can't, they're going to miss out in finals. For the Panthers, their New Year's resolution is to win the premiership. I mean, this is really easy. Obviously, they had 4 in a row coming up until this year. And if it wasn't for a 20-minute fade out in the prelim, they probably would have made a grand final. That consistency they had for 4 years kind of dwindled as they were last at round 12, but they did well to fight back, and well, they probably should have made the grand final in the end. For the Sharks, they need to make it to the grand final. Ever since Craig Fitzgibbon's been there, they've been a consistent final side, but haven't really been able to do much. They've made 2 prelims the last few years and caused a lot of damage in this year's final series. And in 2026, they should be able to make it to a grand final. They've got a good enough side, and we'll have Ronaldo Mulatalo back by the end of the year, you'd think. So, let's see what they do next year. For the Storm, their goal should just be to win the premiership. This one's really easy. They've made the last 2 grand finals. They're consistently in the top 4, so I don't see why they can't win the premiership. I know this is probably going to be their biggest challenge in a while, losing Eli Katoa and Pappenhausen, but I think they're still a strong side, and they'll do what Melbourne always do. For the Broncos, this is another really, really easy one. Go back to back. I mean, was there really any other goal? I mean, they've got such a strong side. They haven't really lost anyone. They've still got Reece Walsh at the peak of his powers. I don't see why they can't go back-to-back. I think they will. That's a different story. But yeah, I think the Broncos should be able to go back-to-back. Surprise, surprise. So, those are my New Year's resolutions for every NRL club. Is there any that you disagree with? Leave them down below. And if you like this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
We are the Tigers in black, white and gold, stout-hearted men, all fit and bold. Watch us make a break and see us score a try. Our motto is do or die.